My husband was on a business trip when I got a call from him while having lunch with my MIL. Something terrible happened. Mom collapsed. What? I looked up. My MIL, sitting across from me, also widened her eyes. So, you know how my parents' house is on the way back from my trip? I'm going straight there to take care of her. I glanced at my MIL again. She put her index finger to her lips. It meant not to tell him that she was with me. Understanding her intent, I decided to go along with my husband's story. Is your mom okay? Should I come too? No, it's fine. To be honest, she doesn't like you much. She thinks you're a disobedient daughter-in-law. So you don't need to come. I see, all right. With that, the call ended. I already had a feeling. My husband was clearly lying. He had a reason he couldn't tell me. As I clenched my fist and trembled, my MIL said, "So, what shall we do now?" My name is Mary, 30 years old. A part-time homemaker in my second year of marriage. I work from home as a writer. I specialize in travel articles, using my experience from my single days working at a travel agency. I met my husband Ryan through a college friend, John. It was John who introduced me to a colleague. Ryan is an ordinary office worker at a small company, with a decent face but otherwise very plain. We dated for about 2 years without any issues. Then, he proposed on my birthday, and I happily accepted. We visited my parents for their blessing. Next, we went to meet Ryan's family. His parents were already divorced, and his father had moved overseas, so only his MIL was at home. I had heard she was a self-made businesswoman, so I was nervous about what kind of person she would be. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary, dating Ryan. When I greeted her, she said, I've been looking forward to meeting you. Come in, come in. She was youthful with a short haircut and a straightforward demeanor. I sat next to Ryan, feeling tense. Mom, I want to marry her. If that's what you two have decided, I won't oppose. Congratulations. Her smile put me at ease. During our chat, she asked about my job. What do you do, Mary? I'm a freelance writer. I usually work from home on my computer. When I said that, her face clouded over. A home-based writer. Is that job okay? What? That's more like a hobby. The income must be unstable too. That's not true. I think it's a respectable job. However, my MIL still looked concerned. But a stable job as a regular employee is better. I find my current job fulfilling. At that point, Ryan stepped in. All right, let's leave it at that, okay? The conversation settled down, but my MIL still frowned. While she didn't oppose our marriage, she didn't understand my job. However, since our new home was 2 hours away from her, I thought we wouldn't have much contact, and I married Ryan. The wedding went well. John, who introduced us, gave a speech, making it a great ceremony. Starting life with Ryan, the first year of marriage was happy, as he helped with housework. But from the second year, Ryan's work got busier, and he started coming home late. Still, I supported him without suspicion. I occasionally saw my MIL, but she always said things like, why don't you get a stable job, or why not get a certification? Tired of her comments, I told Ryan one day. Ryan, I'm not good with your mom. She's a respectable person, but she always criticizes my job. Well, she's from an older generation. You don't have to force yourself to get along with her. It helps to hear you say that. He never forced me to get along with my MIL or follow her advice, which I appreciated. One day, while working at home, my phone rang. It was my MIL, whom I hadn't seen in a while. I hesitated but answered the call. Hello, MIL? What can I do for you? Mary? I need to talk to you about your job. MIL, please stop. No, I want to apologize. What? She explained she had come across an article I wrote in a travel magazine. After looking into it, She found out I was a well-known writer contributing to several magazines. I read your article. It was excellent. Thank you. I'm sorry. I may have looked down on the writing profession. But knowing your talent, I'm ashamed. I truly apologize. Mil. I was surprised but pleased by her apology. Despite her opposition to my job, I didn't dislike her and even respected her. Feeling our rift dissolve, I was happy. As an apology, I'd like to take you to lunch soon. Lunch? If you don't want to, that's fine. But I'd like to hear more about your work. Of course yes, Mil, I'd be delighted. Let's do it. So, 3 days later, we arranged to have lunch at a restaurant in my town. I intended to tell Ryan, but he was busy and left for a business trip the next morning. I wonder what Ryan will think when he finds out I'm having lunch with his mom while he's away. He'll probably be happy. At that time, I naively thought so. On the day of lunch with my Mil, since it was at a fancy restaurant, I dressed up and headed to the meeting place. Mary, over here. My Mil waved at me with a smile and apologized again as I ran over to her. I'm sorry for saying all those things about your job. It's all right, Mil. Let's just enjoy today together. I'm glad to hear that. Order whatever you like. As expected of a businesswoman. I'm going to eat something I usually can't. Oh, Mary. You're such a fun person. We laughed and headed into the restaurant together. Talking with my Mil over lunch, I began to see her good qualities that I hadn't noticed before. She was a capable, strong, yet kind woman, and I started to respect her. After sharing her divorce story, she said, "When I got divorced, I was really glad I had my job. I realized how important money and work are. It made me see how crucial it is for women to work." Mil, is that why you encouraged me to get a stable job? Yes. I didn't want you to struggle if anything happened. But I see now you're working hard. I'm glad you understand. I'll keep doing my best, just like you. The next moment, my phone rang. Oh, it's Ryan. What could it be? Isn't Ryan on a business trip? Yes. I'll put it on speaker so you can hear. I put the call on speaker and placed my phone on the table. Ryan's voice came through. Mary? Something terrible happened. Aren't you on a business trip? The trip ended, but something happened. Mom collapsed. What? I looked up. My Mil also widened her eyes. You know how my parents' house is on the way back? I'm going straight there to take care of her. I glanced at my Mil, who put her finger to her lips. She meant to keep quiet about being with me. Understanding her intent, I decided to go along with Ryan's story. Is Mil all right? Should I come too? No, it's fine. You don't like her anyway, right? But it's okay. To be honest, she thinks you're a disobedient daughter-in-law. So you don't need to come. I see, all right. I'll hang up now. With that, the call ended. I already had a feeling. He was clearly lying. For a reason, he couldn't tell me. Maybe he's cheating? As I clenched my fist and trembled, my Mil said. So Mary, what shall we do now? Mil, do you think it's what I think it is? Unfortunately, it seems there's another woman. But don't worry, Mary, I'm on your side. Her strong words gave me the resolve to find out the truth. After that, my Mil and I made a plan. First, I think it's best to check with his company. Recalling our mutual friend John, who worked at the same company, I messaged him. He replied, "Can we meet after work today?" So, I went to the designated bar with my Mil. John was surprised to see her with me, but when we told him everything, he finally spoke up. I checked with Ryan's department, and he didn't go on a business trip. He took paid leave. So he was lying. I was debating whether to tell you this, Mary. John looked between my Mil and me. When my Mil urged him to please tell us, John seemed to make up his mind. Ryan seems to be involved with his coworker, Kathy. She also took leave at the same time. A female coworker? Yes, and there are photos circulating in the office. John showed his phone. There was a picture of Ryan and a young woman getting into a taxi. Thanks. Can I have this photo? Of course. I'm sorry, Mary. I felt responsible since I introduced you to him. It's not your fault, John. Do you know Kathy's address? I don't, but I'll ask a close female colleague. John contacted a colleague, who informed him that Kathy lived in an apartment 10 minutes by car. Thanks, John. That helps a lot. After parting ways, my MIL bowed deeply to me. Mary, I'm truly sorry for my son's actions. It's okay. It's not your fault. I'll confront him with this evidence and hold the woman accountable too. Wait, Mary. This photo alone might not be enough. They could claim they were just walking together. We need more solid evidence. Leave it to me. My MIL then called a nearby detective agency. She offered to pay for a thorough investigation to get undeniable proof. The agency was known for its quick and reliable work. Mary, ask Ryan when he'll be back. Okay, he replied, the day after tomorrow. My MIL nodded at me. 2 days later. I was at home when Ryan returned. I'm home. Welcome back. How's your mom? She's much better. I'll need to visit her often from now on. That's tough. She's feeling lonely and asked me to stay with her. At that moment, the door to the adjacent room burst open. Who's feeling lonely and asking you to stay? What? Mom? Ryan was so shocked he nearly fell over. My MIL and I approached him. What's going on? Why is Mom here? I thought you two didn't get along. Too bad for you. We made up. When she got the call about Mom collapsing while having lunch together, I was shocked. No way. Seeing Ryan's confused face, I spoke. Where were you and with whom these past few days? Ryan turned pale and stayed silent. Seeing no other option, I said. You lied about the business trip and went on a romantic getaway with Kathy, right? What? Who's Kathy? Feigning ignorance, I showed him the photo John had given me of him and Kathy getting into a taxi. Sure enough, Ryan said something like this. We just happened to take a taxi together after a drinking party. She's just a coworker, nothing more. Oh, really? Then what's this? I shoved more photos at him. They showed him leaving Kathy's house and kissing her at the front door. What is this? You lied about the business trip and couldn't stay away after your fling, so you kept sneaking to her place, right? These photos were obtained by a detective agency hired by MIL. Mom hired them. As Ryan looked at MIL in disbelief, she suddenly slapped him. You idiot son. You have such a good wife and you do this. Have you forgotten why your father and I divorced? It was because of his cheating, remember? You're just like him, it's pathetic. Mom! I once talked about you taking over my company someday, didn't I? That's off the table now. And not just that. I'm disowning you, so be prepared. No way! Seeing no other option, Ryan got down on his knees and begged me. Mary, it was just a mistake. Please forgive me. I'll be a good husband from now on. I snapped at him. Don't be ridiculous. You lied to me and betrayed me, and now you're trying to sweet-talk me? We're getting divorced. I'll take the alimony you owe me. Ugh. Unable to say anything more, Ryan could only groan as MIL kicked him out of the house. Later, our divorce was finalized. MIL got me a lawyer, and I secured more alimony than the average amount. I also demanded compensation from Kathy. The conflict over this led to Ryan and Kathy breaking up. Afterwards, MIL gave me a large sum of money as compensation for the trouble. MIL didn't hold back. Since Ryan got his job through MIL's connections, she told his boss to fire him. Ryan was dismissed for disrupting the office with his affair with a coworker. With his savings depleted by the alimony and being disowned by MIL, Ryan now lives in a shabby apartment, working as a day laborer around the clock. I feel no sympathy for him, just satisfaction. As for me, I moved to a new place with the alimony and continued my work as a writer. MIL and I now call each other by our first names, Mary, Ann and Susan, and sometimes travel together. There's still a lot I can learn from her. I want to cherish my relationship with my MIL and live my life positively from here on.